Hello, folks of YouTube, so welcome back to Phoenix Wright, the Ace Attorney Trilogy, Game 1, Episode 5. We're back for our little epilogue here on the stream, and we're gonna go back to the trial. Very exciting stuff, getting very tense in here after recess, so we've got a lot going on. It's very exciting. I'll plug in the controller. I forgot to do so because we gotta rotate objects with our minds and or hands, and this is getting exciting. Brace yourselves for content. Court will now reconvene with the trial of Ms. Lana Skye. And of course, if you're watching the YouTube later, make sure you come out the stream at twitch.tv/SL_TV, where we hang out and play games like this all the time. And we didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Officer Jake Marshall. Here we are, folks. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner. I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman! As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling out. This guy's a genius. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edward described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. I love his theme. It's so good. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. Well, what do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Yeah, it's going to be a long one, I think. Please share with us your testimony the day of the crime, in plain old English. We're gonna get some very roundabout descriptions here, probably. I've got to be really on the ball tonight, so we're gonna task our word processing capabilities. My job is to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. Okay. So you mean the evidence room? But there's bones in there? They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Fair enough, I understand. Keep a man tied down. Besides, I'm protected by 2 security systems anyway. Remember, I was at the street side saloon the time went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. Well, I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Oh my god. Attacking the beard? Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yeah, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks in the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Thank you, Judgy-kun. My job to keep wary eye on that bone orchard. Give me a hold it, please. How did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so stale even time dies in there. There's the caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Videos and nothing aren't that useful. When the time will come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, these tapes have to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase the tape, it feels like I was erasing part of my life. This guy's a flair for the dramatic, but that isn't going to do him any good. So, in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. The desperados I know joined the police force. So, Officer Marshall, the day of the crime, between you and me, did you... a double tap? We gotta use the controller anyway. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. You don't think nothing about that? Sorry, partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? We have to go back to this real quick. Between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. Okay. Hit this man with the evidence call. Well, actually, we'll go through first, but then we'll hit this man with the evidence call. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course, back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locks. Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors in the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Gumtree says something about that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem as relevant to the case. What you were doing, the crime took place. Streetside saloon. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. I'm sorry? Not even Angel Steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vongole sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. So it's usually where Edgeworth says, did you not want to raise this year? I'm just an innocent traveling man, so got an ammo time to hit the trail. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner, as you call it, evidence. You plan to pin me to this crime, you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for the guard in the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. But you're... okay. Apparently your superiors don't. Up the ante. Okay. I mean, I say we just fire away. What? Eh, we can take an L. That's awkward. Interesting. Interesting. Oh. Do we have the ID card log? He didn't go in the room. Man, we have so much evidence. Wait, so... huh? Okay, I wasn't on the right track then. Officer Marshall, doesn't that strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime, and yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Huh. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural fingerprints would be in there. Only wish there were, officer. You see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away, however. A luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? Seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshal. About the bloodstained fingerprints. Very well. Begin justifying about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Alright. Alright. Here we go. Blood-stained fingerprints. Like I said, it's only natural because my fingerprints be found in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be in the same place as that blood-stained handprint. Whoever touched the locker, my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or, didn't you know? The murderer was wearing gloves. See? I had nothing to do with it. The witness's explanation appears valid, though there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. This looks bad. Nothing is like jumping out yet. It's like, oh yeah, I have evidence for this. That's because the evidence pile is so big right now. You pay your respect once a month? Yeah, that's right, and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective, the locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently, his fingerprint data was never removed from the locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Okay. So then what with the bloody handprint? It wasn't mine, it's no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened the murderer touched the locker, I think it was by chance. Seems convenient for you, doesn't it, Marshal? The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. Chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Unrelated. They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One got to do with breakfast, the other type of murder. And he's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep with the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. Was found in Detective Gumshoe's locker. No fingerprints were detected in that handprints. Yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprints. That's the only logical conclusion. You starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. Only one reality, and that's this. The tape. As long as my trail is in there, you can't say otherwise. So this is a good takeaway, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, oh god. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to that crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without ever being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Rice. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Oh my god. Oh, I can't fast forward? Oh my god. Let's take a look. At least the music's not there. Meekins. Watching that left locker like a hawk. Nailed it. Folks, we got him. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might end up being the one making the mistake. Oh my god. Let's go. Bring your attention back to the security camera. Is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. Days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words, not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. Well, cloth with the white locker sticking out with the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Oh, the white cloth is gone. What is the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order! Hold your horses. Sorry, partner. But you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? I don't mean I'm the one who opened it. You get blasted. Murdered you to hide something, so you opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault you happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? He doesn't know. This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. He doesn't know? I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say open that locker, now prove it. Fingerprint sensor? Talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Gumshoe did mention something about this. The lock's not that obvious. There are even people who do the fourth don't even know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Aggressively choose jerky? I only got one word for you, partner. No! Order, order, order. Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, this is the worst one I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Olay! Please answer the question. Was he a bullfighter? It's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. The only possible conclusion. Let's hear it. The time of the crime? So we have two options. We can either put him here, where he wouldn't be seen by Meekins, or we can put him here, which makes sense. Officer Marshall was standing right here. So Meekins didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Meekins' warp theory. Your chamber's empty, partner. Better reload. You're ganging up on me. Okay, perhaps. Okay, let's save again. Oops. What? Huh? I pointed at the killer. That didn't work out. Pointed at the locker. That didn't work out. Let me think for a moment, folks. I'll be right back. No, anyway. Welcome back. We're refreshed, ready to go. Get our brain on, turned on, juice mode. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't understand what's wrong here. We presented Marshall as the killer, and Marshall at his locker. Both of those were wrong. I do not understand where else he could be standing. So I missed clicking the killer? I am a little confused. Meekins should have seen him. This is Goodman, right? I pointed to this, yes?
Take that!
But that's where the victim Goodman was. Oh, what? I have this rotated in my head? Because I've been trying to argue that Goodman is... What? I think the notation's confusing there. Because Meekins didn't kill anybody. Oh, the court thinks he killed somebody, though. I understand. Because based on the video, it seems like extremely obvious that Goodman was the aggressor there. I see. Okay, so I wasn't going crazy. Alright. I was like, was I that tired? No. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman.
Objection!
But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure.
Objection!
May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did he respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed to go into the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple, he couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture's on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? No? I don't believe so, at least. Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Ugh, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Marshall was in disguise, but rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance that it might have been discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the scene of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth was sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened in order to put the cloth inside. So just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all of our unanswered questions? I don't think so. I think the video is bad. The video is my only shot. Very well. Oh my god. What now? Okay, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness... Oh dear. Ding, 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 ding. Look at the frame by frame.
Take that!
Oops. Hold on, I hit. I have a dual shock. I hit triangle. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So his shoulder gets injured somewhere in here. Interesting. Um... Is there some kind of like misdirection here? Unlike the white glove, it's not blocking the open locker. What are we doing right now? Trying to find why he needed to put the white cloth in the locker. Could it be for the shoulder wound or something? Nothing over there. I fully don't understand. Clean off the locker, maybe? Well, what do you have to say to that? Alright, partner. You really want to know the reason I opened my locker? Why? So I could stuff you in there. Huh? I'm sure the world would be a better place if you sent off to the boneyard. Unfortunately, unsolved cases can't be stored in the evidence room. Now I'm an unsolved case? Something went wrong. I must open his locker. Okay. Alright. I'll try the knife wound, I guess. It's right now my favorite lead, I think. Not like hyper compelling, but it's shown to the camera clearly, so I think it's for some reason, you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman, and entered the evidence room, and though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. Bloody white coat? You couldn't just walk out like that, so you had the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Okay, we got somewhere. Now then, Officer Marshall. Are you ready to tell us the truth? You can't handle the truth. Looks like I underestimated you. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. Seems the time has come. Alright, the testimony. Let's go. Yo, okay. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Yo. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. Was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay, interesting. Fascinating. Alright. SL9. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? SL9, 2 years have passed since the case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I want to look at myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why did he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why, So we know why. Per the records, one of the victims was a relative of Marshall, maybe a brother or something. And Marshall was an investigator, but not the investigator. If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, or I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, it wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the camera. And the judge's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card, left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. Yo, okay, that explains that one at least. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't be able to open that locker yourself. But he could because the rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means that Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Okay. You pulled a knife on Meekins to try to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking the detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. Think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. Huh. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it'd make a difference though. The security tape was erased every 6 hours. If all gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. Open my locker and stash it in there. What was Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day, no murder. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence in the locker. Actually, no I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. I'm guessing it was Goodman working with Lana. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing the detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't be forgiven the small cut in salary. Yo, Hydra, what's up? Good to see you. Not that salary cuts are all ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dock was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't tend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Okay, yep. Alright. Okay, a quick save to double check, make sure we're getting low on health, and we will present to him the evidence. You know, the evidence. Here we go. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. Yo, cactus juice? It'll quench you. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchiest. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall? Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. Yo, what? He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? Yep, there it is. The reveal. He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. Oh, I didn't see him in the foreground here. Last time, oops. Group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dock. My brother fought Dark and was killed. The first time Dark left behind any evidence, that's all we needed. Wait a minute, Hydra. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed, at least according to public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. So that's your reason for your insane actions. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with this resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. chance. It's gotta be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means that only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
Objection!
But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Objection!
Which is why we examined the incident at the department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of this type simultaneous murder of the police department. It seemed to me this boy's got a draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. Hold on. We have a lot of blood to account for, and the pottery. I'm just saying. And the testimony of one Ms. Angel Starr is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Objection! Arg? I rest my case. He said it finally. I'm going to sneeze. Maybe we're good. It seems this trial reaches a conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder of the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was a fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendants. Objection. Hold it. Oh. Hello, Emma. Your Honor, wait. Emma! The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? Yes. You're so right, Emma. Very proud of you. What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking for is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. Don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Yo, what? I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the S9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, the name of both Skye sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints are found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess not much of an investigator after all. Emma, no! You tried your best! Is that all? Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student. I'm just an attorney. Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. Then we can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled with the blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can be of more use, but still. Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. We kind of do. Yes, Your Honor. If I ever needed to concentrate, it's now. I'm feeling you, Phoenix. What could be wrong with that handprint on Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? I mean, I think it's this.
Objection!
This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping Mr. Rights. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yeah, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something that's been drawn on there? Yeah, something that when drawn will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Rice. All the evidence here, there's something I can use. I'm pretty sure it's the Blue Badger. What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force, defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger's not here. So watch out when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what? Gasp. That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? So that means, just what exactly does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found in that locker. Look at me, I didn't put them there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma? On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would have been impossible to leave a bloodstain on the locker. So that means this mark was left there before the Badger was brought in? This is one moment I would not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. Yo, what? It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. Goodman cut his hand on the pottery? Is my new theory? But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by security cameras. Officer Meekins cut his hand from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in security tape has proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found in the locker. So then, assuming this murder report really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? So we have the log. Checking the logs, folks. Folks. We're checking the logs. Logs Andy. To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark in the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us. When did this occur? As Edward said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows the murder took place. Okay. When the first crime took place. And all I've got is... this. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, the killer would have had to enter it. Oh, good question, Hydra. That's a very good question, actually. In order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card. Oh, the ID card record! Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime takes place before that time, it would be 4:40. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? Never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act with this. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Eh? Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand it either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Meekins and Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime was taking place before Mr. Edwards entered the evidence room. Let's try it again. Only one other card number remaining. 777-7777. What about a lucky number? Oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 777-7777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777-777777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card, at least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 777777. I called it! I called it. Belongs to someone with the rank of Captain or higher. Someone who's a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
Objection!
But that's ridiculous, it's just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can grant such authority. If an official charge filed against the executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate if you kept your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? But not to you, to her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid, she's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 7777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner, that's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The S-Online incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Oh my god, it just keeps going. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we... Oh yeah. Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. Yeah, the case has been great. At least, I did. Law? I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me in the eye, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. Dang, she's cold. At least in this, you know, that's just the way it is. Unclear if she's doing this to cover something up still, though. Like, my gut check is that Lana's doing this as, like, she's taking the fall to cover up for something else. But, ugh. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. She turns to the side, looks away. She cannot look him in the eye. See? That's what I'm talking about. No. No! Order, order. This is a new sound effect. Order. Mom's remarks can such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom will people have to wait until the following day. Wow. Holy cow, that's chilling. Now, let's be real here, okay? Because on the one hand, that is enormously scandalous. On the other hand, Game 1 featured both Edgeworth and Von Karma admitting to coaching witnesses and forging evidence at varying times. Now, it was for probably lower stakes than this, but that for sure was like, you know, maybe Edgeworth manipulated evidence or held back, but like, I don't know. It's a good course correction, right? It's just funny in the context of Game 1, which my memory, at least of Game 1, was that both Edgeworth and Von Karma were making tons of craziness all the time. And the while Phoenix was scandalized, like the public wasn't, right? And we as the reader were scandalized. But it was more like, oh my God, these guys are willing to do anything. Whereas here, Lana admits it, and then everybody's like, oh my God, this is horrifying. Can you believe this? There's like recognition. So very interesting, very interesting. Wow, the case continues to be fantastic. Holy cow. Very strong. All right. Thank you so much for being here, folks. If you're watching us on Twitch, hold up. We got more stuff to do. If you're watching on YouTube, though, thank you so much for being here. I'm Essel. Hopefully you enjoyed today's VOD. If you did, consider subscribing down below to find more content from me. Like the video and hit the bell if you want to get even more content and help me out with the algorithm. And like I said before, come on the stream, twitch.tv/Essel_TV, Sunday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Playlist above for more videos, and hopefully we'll see you live. Come by, hang out with us. We got a Discord as well. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Until next time. Peace.